Hello, people of God. This is my Jacob's Way TV. This is episode 23, and I am Dupi Singer. In the last episode, I ended my story by asking you where you are in your journey with God. Did God ask you to stay in the wilderness and you chose to go to the palace? Remember that the Lord asked me to stay in the bush and I went to the international airport. It didn't end there. I cried to God and I asked for help. But my mind has already left what the Lord asked me to do. I thought that was the end of it, without knowing that I had not even started. So I went back to God and cried to Him for help. I asked for another job that will make up for me one way or the other. And from nowhere, I had this connection that made me able to do a souvenir for the wedding of the then Vice President of Nigeria. I'm a very lowly person, laid back, not in the limelight as it were. But the Lord brought that connection because I didn't let Him rest day or night. I wasn't particular about this Vice President, but the Lord made a way for me. It was the wedding of His daughter, and somehow this, whatever I did put together, was one of the souvenirs that was distributed at the wedding. And I was therefore invited for the wedding. It was another beautiful place to be. Can you imagine that you are a guest of the Vice President of Nigeria? I'm sure you give everything to be there. And my husband was not going to go, so I invited my younger sister to come with me. We got to the airport, and somehow the Nigerian factor was involved. The list of the people who were going to go on the airplane was distorted, and so people had to be paired up in very untoward ways. If a man was not going with his wife and another woman was not going with her husband, they paired them together. And pairing them together will mean, for example, that they will sleep together in the same room. My younger sister and I looked at ourselves and we said we will not be part of this. But more than this, I asked my sister, our names happen not to be on this list, even though we had an invitation. What if there was trouble in the air and we called upon the name of the Lord, and the Lord will have asked us, where are you? We say we are in the air and there's trouble. And the Lord will say, but your name is not on the list. How come you are there? And my sister became convinced, and the two of us turned our backs and walked away from them. As we were going away, the Nigerians were abusing us. What is wrong with these people? What do they think they are wise? But that's what everybody is doing. We are pairing ourselves together. Come back. You can pair with somebody. You can pair with that person. You can pair with this. Pair with somebody that you don't know, and you go and sleep in the same room with the person. We had left Egypt. My sister and I had made up our minds we were not going to go back there that way. So we walked away from it. Have you ever asked yourself, have you ever thought about it deeply? What happened to John the Baptist? He was supposed to be in the wilderness. Folks, he was supposed to be in the wilderness. Where did he go to? He went to the palace. What was he doing there? Well, he was supposed to be working for God. But while he was in the wilderness, the crowd was following him. He was almost saying any kind of thing to people, and they were still coming. He was calling them a brood of vipers, and they were coming in the wilderness. They were coming. He was telling them very hard things. They were coming and they were repenting and they were being baptized. Before he got to the wilderness, it had been prophesied many, many years earlier that this is the voice of the one crying in the wilderness. He had no place in the palace. He had no business in the palace. He left the wilderness, his primary place of assignment, to go and do something else. He had no business talking to the king about what he was doing right or wrong. He was not the one that was sent. Somebody else was sent by God. Maybe the other person was sleeping anyway. But it was not the job of John the Baptist. And you know what happened? He was beheaded. The first time I read that bit of the Bible, I always wondered why, when they went to Jesus and told Jesus that his cousin, John the Baptist, was so beheaded, the way Jesus answered always baffled me. But Jesus, the power and the wisdom of God, knew that it's almost like you know your placement and you walk away from it. And that was my own case then. I walked away from my placement until almost 6 months after, if not more than that, a little after that. I was in a dream one day, and a man sat beside me. He was wearing white. I did not see his face because his face was far into the heavens. But he woke me up in my dream. I was awake inside my dream, and he said to me, "Where are you?" And I said, "I am in my house." He said, "Where are you supposed to be?" I said, "Well, if what you mean is that I should have been in the bush where the Lord asked me to go, well, I'm not there." And the man said to me, "You better go back to the land that the Lord showed you and stop wasting your time." I heard him very clearly. You better go back to the land that the Lord showed you and stop wasting your time. God the Father, by His Spirit, spoke to me, and I am always excited about the fact that God is never ambiguous or nebulous in the way He communicates with you. What struck me in that revelation is so that you will not waste your time. So when I woke up, I realized that wasting of time I'm tired of wasting my time. I saw that I've been wasting my time. And the man had said to me further, "And when you go there, take your flowers with you to decorate the land." Now, that word decorate also struck me, because initially, don't forget, I had thought that the Lord wanted me to take my wares to the streets to go and sell. But this time I got a different understanding. That He said, "Go and decorate the land with the roses that the Lord has brought your way or has taught you." Now, don't forget that at the very beginning of my revelation that brought me or took me to that place, my uncle had come to see me, and he had taken me to that portion of land, and he had told me that my auntie had wanted me to decorate a portion of place for her. That word decorate came up again. But for the first time, I had the understanding that it was not to sell, it was to decorate the land. So I had to brace myself up again. It isn't easy to tell people that God says you should go back to that land, the place you have turned your back at for the past, you have turned your back to for the past 6 months or more. But I knew I had the voice of the Lord, and I was afraid that disobedience can be worse than obedience. In any case, I have disobeyed a little, and I had seen what I didn't like. I didn't want my life to be going around in circles. So I said to myself, instead of wasting my time, I better be on my way. This is still Dupi Singer, and it is my Jacob's Way TV. Thank you for watching. Thank you for cheering. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for hitting the notification bell. Don't be selfish, like I always say. Share. And then prayerfully return to your closet and say to the Lord, I have left my place of primary assignment. The palace is not necessarily your place of primary assignment. It could easily be the wilderness. In human eyes, the wilderness and the palace are not the same. But God knows the reason why He's sending you to the wilderness. He is a God who turns the wilderness into a fruitful land. Thank you. I love you. Bye-bye.